Good morning, my friend. I am excited to bring another throwback episode to you. Somebody that I love is stuck. They feel stuck. They're just covering the same ground over and over. Like they say, they feel like they're on a treadmill. That like nothing's ever going to change. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to break through. They're doing good things, but they just feel like they're getting average results, and they have the capacity to be awesome. So this is an old episode that was called Average to Awesome, how to break through. Like, this is the idea. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you're just on the verge of great things, that God's calling you to something bigger and you just can't quite break through, here's some thoughts on how you can finally smash through those barriers and go from average to awesome. And you know what the biggest thing is? You have to start today. I've heard it a million times from friends, family members, patients, and even podcast listeners all over the world. The same thing over and over. People say, I'm stuck. I can't break through this time. I don't see how this could ever change. Have you ever said those words, my friend? Felt stuck in your life in some place? Afraid it was always going to be the same, that you never had a way to move forward? And if so, I've got good news for you. Today, we're going to learn how to break through. You want to finally overcome that problem, lose that weight, succeed in your business, go from worst to first, or from average to awesome? Then stick around for this episode of You Start Today. There are only 3 changes that must be made if you really want to break through in any area of your life. Only 3. And the good news is they're all inside your head. They are within your control. It's true. The secret to changing any area of your life is within your own power, and it can happen almost instantly. In episode 59 of You Start Today, we're finally breaking through. You can succeed and thrive no matter what your past looks like, but it takes a little self-brain surgery, and you have to start today. Welcome to You Start Today, the Dr. Lee Warren weekly podcast for real life change. If you're ready to become healthier, feel better, and be happier in your mind, body, spirit, work, relationships, and finances, keep coming back every week. And every day, start today. I'm Dr. Lee Warren, a brain surgeon and writer who knows that life is harder than brain surgery. I know that because I've been down and out and on the ropes in different times of my life, but I've learned the secrets of not just surviving the war of life, but also learning how to thrive. You can too, my friend, but you have to start today. You can get the show notes for this episode and more at my website, wleewarrenmd.com/059.
This is Max Lucado, author and pastor. You're listening to You Start Today with my friend Dr. Lee Warren. If you want to become healthier, feel better, and be happier, you start today.
Hey, my friend, sometimes we're stuck. We dream dreams that seem impossible. We desire life changes that seem unattainable. And when you find yourself there, you need a breakthrough. You need that moment when you suddenly believe. You see the path clearly to where your heart knows you're supposed to go, and you know you can do it. The impossible becomes possible. It even becomes certain. You need a breakthrough. Here's the thing. Breakthroughs don't happen by accident. They don't happen by epiphany very often. Actually, they're almost always the result of someone deciding in their mind and in their heart that they will no longer accept the ordinary or the sameness of their life. They decide and they set their course for the extraordinary. They demand success of themselves. Wherever you're stuck, work, weight, wealth, worry, relationships, love, emotions, whatever it is, whatever area of life you find yourself in and you need a breakthrough, there are only 3 changes that must be made if you want to really get it done. Only 3, and they're all inside your head. And I promise you that the people who are able to consistently break through, those who outperform others, those who accomplish remarkable things in their lives, are the people who have mastered the art of self-brain surgery in order to learn how to repeat these 3 steps whenever they need to. What are the 3 steps? I'm glad you asked. Strategy, story, and state. Strategy, story, and state. That's it. Self-help and personal development gurus like Tony Robbins and Brendon Burchard make millions of dollars from people attending their seminars to learn these 3 things from them. And for good reason. It works. The reason it works is rooted in neuroscience. It's even in the Bible. We'll get there later. Today we're going to learn how to use strategy, story, and state to create breakthroughs in our lives, and even more importantly, to become people who know how to set themselves up for breakthrough whenever it's necessary. Those folks are the ones who really learn how to become healthier, feel better, and be happier all the time when they can call on and master strategy, story, and state. Sometimes we see someone else's success and we start making excuses for why we can't do as well as they did. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. She's got better genetics. I'll never be as thin as her. Or if I had the same opportunities that guy did, I'd be rich too. She always gets that lucky break. Now, there are certainly some people who have more opportunity or better breaks than you do in some areas. The kind of excuse making, though, that I just mentioned is guaranteed to make two things happen. Number one, it will keep you stuck. And two, it will be irrelevant to the person you're comparing yourself to. That's good teaching. It's true. Comparing yourself to others and blaming them for your lack of a breakthrough is a surefire way to stay stuck and even become more miserable than you are. You can't just look at other people and be mad that they're doing it better than you are. You see, success over time is never about only luck. As Tony Robbins correctly says, luck is what you do for a day or two, or a week or two. But strategies are what make it consistently happen for decades. A strategy can be found in the simplest or slightest distinction, and it can happen in an instant. So if the person who really wants to break through will spend time looking for the clues that other people's successes leave, the strategies that got them there, that's when you're finally on the path to breaking through for yourself. This is why sports teams watch game films. It's why generals and armies study great battles. Making sound strategies for your own breakthrough is most successful when you study the successes and the failures of others. So if you've been stuck because you're mad that someone else has an easier life than you do, or some opportunity that you didn't have, I say this with love, my friend. Get over yourself. Note their successes and purpose in your heart to learn from them, and then go do better by making better strategies for yourself. You should know, however, that strategy alone will not get the job done. In every sports event, both teams have a strategy, but somebody always loses. In fact, the U.S. health, fitness, and weight loss industries do almost $100 billion in business every year. This is a huge industry, which indicates that there are many different strategies out there that work for health, fitness, and weight loss. And yet, at the time of this recording, 2/3 of Americans are significantly overweight, and at least 1/3 are actually obese. So despite many perfectly sound strategies that will work to help people get healthier, most people fail in their weight loss and fitness efforts. So what gives? Before we go on, let me just mention that there's a big difference between strategy, your plan, and tactics, the on-the-ground moves you make to execute your strategy. Sometimes bad tactical operation ruins a great strategy. Like you have this terrific strategy of what you're going to eat for a given day, and you're going to avoid certain foods and all that, but then you don't bother to pack a lunch, so you end up out there at your job somewhere hungry, and all your choices are fast food that's fried. That's bad tactics. Even though you had a good strategy, you didn't tactically employ it on the ground. And we'll talk about the important difference between tactic and strategy in a future episode. But for now, just remember that when you're looking at successful people and trying to discern their secrets, pay attention not just to what they say, but to what they actually do. Because successful people leave a trail behind, and you can follow it to your own breakthrough. So if we know that strategy alone isn't enough, what is it that people are missing that holds them back even when they have a sound plan? Usually, it's a little thing called story. All of us have a recording running in our heads all the time. We have a story we hear, and we believe it to be true of our own lives. And if that story is a limiting story, if it's a neutering, harmful, disempowering story, then you're going to be stuck. If you look in the mirror and your heart tells you that you're fat because you've got bad genes and big bones and you might as well not try to lose weight, your hormones are all messed up so you don't even have a chance, if that's your story, it's going to be hard for you to succeed in weight loss for very long because you're listening to a bad story. The gurus say this, but my friend Dr. Daniel Amen has proven it with neuroimaging. What you believe to be true of yourself changes your brain chemistry and over time actually becomes true in your life. People like Dr. Bernie Siegel, who was on the podcast before, have taken this knowledge and used it in powerful ways to accomplish almost miraculous successes in cancer treatments and other health problems. And it's been scientifically validated, my friend, that how you think changes your brain chemistry and ultimately will change your reality. And so if you have a bad story and you listen to it, you are literally helping to make it come true in your life. And that's a terrible strategy. Reproducible, lasting success happens when you have the right strategy, which most often happens when you change your story. You need a story that what you want is actually possible or even inevitable, and that you can and will make it happen. It's got to become your core value that you will succeed. Your limiting story has to be deleted, and you've got to replace it with an empowering story. One of the most common types of stuckness happens when people have a limiting story that's there because of something real in their past. Now hear me out here. Let's say you really did have a terrible event in your past. You lost a child, like I did. Your wife left you, or you were raped, or you were in prison, or you went bankrupt, or something terrible happened. Your story says that you'll always be that, or you can never overcome that, or you will never feel a certain thing, or you'll always feel a certain thing. And if you believe that the past controls your future, then guess what? It absolutely will. Your story may be true. But if something in the past is still limiting your life, this is hard teaching, but it's true. If something in the past is still limiting your life, it's your fault. Unless that person is still there holding you down, if your dad's still there telling you you're a failure and you just can't get loose, or if the events or the people are in the past, my friend, you and only you can control your own future. That abusive person in the past does not have the power to control your future unless you grant that power to that past event. The truth is, sometimes our stories become excuses, so we don't have to sum up the courage to try for our own breakthrough. This is why abused people tend to go back to the abusive relationship. Because they're so unclear about what the future is. They're more afraid of the future than they are of the damaging and hurtful present or past. So the truth is, again, I'm going to say this again, our stories can sometimes become excuses, so we don't have to have the courage to try for our own breakthrough. That's good teaching. It's hard, but it's true. The only way to change a limiting story is to want the breakthrough more than you want the comfort of sameness or sympathy or self-loathing or satisfaction with average or same. If you're hungry for change, if you really want it, you have to change your story from I can't to I will. That, my friend, is on you. Now, if you need help, listen to a podcast like this one. Read Tony Robbins. Go to a seminar. Find a group. But you have to do something. Do it. Do it today. Change your story. But you've got to move. The good news is that your story can change in an instant with a little self-brain surgery. That's a funny thing to say, but what I'm saying is you can change your own brain, which then changes your chemistry, which then changes your life, and you can do it yourself. Story and mood or emotional state are intimately connected. For many, probably most people, the biggest determinant of how they perform in a given task or situation is their mood. How they feel. Some people think that they are totally slaves to their feelings. These are the people who say things like, I didn't get enough sleep last night, so I'm going to have a bad day. Or, boy, you better not mess with me today. I woke up too early and I'm grumpy. I'm in a bad mood today. Don't make me mad, or it's going to be a bad day for you. You hear people say things like, oh, he made me mad. I can't get any work done today because I'm so mad. Or I've got a headache and I feel bad, so I'm just going to have a terrible day. Those people are attaching reality to feelings, and that's a terrible idea because feelings actually follow action. You can make yourself feel something different than you do. If you ever attach an outcome to a feeling, you're not on the path to success. The truth is, feelings follow action. Emotion, as Tony Robbins says, follows motion. The truth is, feelings follow action. You can change your feelings by deciding to change them. It's absolutely true from neuroscience that you can will yourself into a different physiological state, and that will change your emotional state. It's not the other way around. Think about the thing that scares you the most. a bucket full of spiders spilled on the floor, a market collapse, a bad biopsy result, a husband leaving you. Think about that thing that's really scary to you, whatever it might be. Tell yourself it's happening now. Just close your eyes for a minute and think about that scary thing. Even knowing it's not real, even knowing that you're just thinking about it, you can feel those spiders crawling up your leg, can't you? You can feel the feeling of what the doctor would say when the biopsy is going to be bad news. You can make yourself feel that. Your hair kind of stands up on your arm. You feel that spider walking up your leg that you're terrified of. Is your heart rate increasing a little bit? Think about that scary thing. What you're doing is you're changing your state into one of fear. And the things that follow fear are never really good for you. The same thing, though, this is the good news, the same thing can happen in reverse. You can be faced with a real-life scary situation, and you can command your body and your mind to handle it calmly and without fear. This is the secret of therapists and hypnotists and coaches who teach mind over matter. It works because you can speak to your emotional state and you can control it. You can literally take deep breaths and use empowering words. It's just a spider. It can't hurt me. I will not be afraid of this. And you can work yourself into a state where you can do what you need to do. This is truth. When you put yourself into a more optimal state, it changes the stories you're capable of believing and the ability to execute your strategies for success. State changes everything. I said before that this stuff is validated in neuroscience. Read Daniel Amen's book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, if you want the best reference I've ever seen to prove that to yourself. It's validated. This is real. Changing your state changes your brain chemistry, and you can use that power to change your life. It's also in the Bible. What you choose to think about changes your reality. Look at Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, fill your minds with beauty and truth. Meditate on what's honorable, what's right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is good, whatever is virtuous and praiseworthy. The writer goes on to say that focusing on these good thoughts will produce peace in your mind and in your heart. The truth is, my friend, you change what you think about, you end up changing your life. Look, life is hard. There's always going to be hard things and big problems, but the bad stuff is always available for you to think about. You can be in the happiest moment of your life and you can start thinking about something bad or hard, and you can turn yourself into you can make it a lousy day. That's true, because the bad stuff's always right there. But here's the truth. So is the good stuff. You can always make yourself think on these better things. You can turn your face away from the trouble and towards something better, something higher, the blessings, the possibilities. It's all about orientation of what you choose to think about, what God is doing, not the challenges, not the limiting stories, not the excuses, not the past. Change your state, change your story, change your strategy, and you will change your life. You will go from average to awesome, from zero to hero. You will finally break through. Change your strategy, your story, and your state. That's how you break through. You can do it, but you have to start today. If you have a question or a comment, leave me a voicemail on the YST hotline at 1-334-246-4569. That's 1-334-246-4569. Or email me, lee@drleewarren.com. Remember, if you want to become healthier, feel better, and be happier, you have to start today. Life isn't brain surgery. It's harder. It's a war. But even though life is hard, God is faithful, my friend, and you can have the life you were created to have. But to do so, to really break through, you have to change your strategy, your story, and your state. Hey, if you like my podcast, you'll love my newsletter. Every Monday, I give you my best prescriptions for a healthier, better, happier life for free. Check it out and join the community at wleewarrenmd.com/newsletter. I'm Dr. Lee Warren, and you've been listening to YST. You start today. Be sure to subscribe via iTunes so you automatically get new episodes. I can't wait to talk to you next week, my friend. But you start today.